Hey everyone, here Gustavo León. For the ones who don't know me, I'm Gustavo León. I'm a full stack developer, and I've been in LeniHop for about 3 years now. Really excited, and yeah, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited to share the story of this project with you all. This project has been like kind of a semi-secret endeavor. Some of you may not know, but it's like an effort to create a community-driven open source game built with the Godot game engine. Yeah. So without further ado, I present you LeniHop. So yeah, uh, I cannot wait to dive into how it all came together. So the ups and downs, and everything in between, and it's been quite a ride. So let's jump right in. And the initial concept and vision for this game was to actually started out as a fun little side project. I was just fooling around with Godot shaders and the animation editor in the engine. And for you, if you like to know more about shaders, Godot shaders, that we have already a talk in the link below, so you can check it out. But yeah, so like a lot of my other side gigs, it didn't start like with some big master plan. Was just a bit of goofing around with to capture that retro vibe we all love from the 8-bit and 16-bit consoles. And no formal game design document, high concept document, nothing set in stone. It was just kind of grew organically and fueled by passion and some awesome input from the community. So I just like get input from the forum of the Godot game engine, play testing, feedback. I also have like this input from YouTubers on like play with Percifer with some shaders explanations, and yeah, so that's basically what's the information where it came from, basically. The process, like the first thing that I started like creating was like a replica of the boot animation of the Game Boy Advance, the console, the handheld console, while playing around with the animation edit, as I said. I was also experimenting with some screen shaders and found some really cool ones that simulates that CRT monitor or OLTV effect, like the VCR we had on the 90s. And you can check it out here. There's a link, yeah, also on the link below. And yeah, this inspired me to look for shaders that also will give that game the original Game Boy look with its limited color palette that you see there, that the one you see there on the square here, the has like 4 limited shades of yellowish, greenish shades. This was great also because to set this retro tone with these visual effects was great, but I needed actual gameplay. So I wanted to create a simple and casual mini game, because I didn't want to create a complex gameplay, because I think it will derail of the intention I had to present. Oh, if this is like an example of a game to make, because probably game developers trying to initiate on the industry or want to play around with the Godot game engine, I really think it's like a good starting point for them to, oh, this has already been done, and yeah, I could like check out the code, check out how it was like the effects and all of that being done. So it was really, I didn't want to make it too complex in that sense. So I initially considered like making Flappy Bird clone, but that idea didn't convince me at all. We already, in some of the game jams already, previously game jams we participated, we kind of implemented already. So I thought that, okay, maybe another game will be a good candidate for that. So then I thought, oh, the Dino Round game from Chrome, you all may probably know. It was simple and cool, simple enough just to play with one single button, and two, in the case you have to like avoid the airborne or obstacles. But yeah, so that was the simple idea. So with the core idea in mind, okay, the next step was to find the assets. So for this game, I didn't like create it from scratch. So I just go directly with my favorite artist, is Kenny. Kenny has created like a bunch of assets freely available, so you can use it for any purpose you need commercially, or maybe you want to create some like the slides that you see there on the own slides I created, the background. You can create it and you can use it for everything you like. So really cool, Kenny. You must check it out if you like it. And yeah, the other sources that I had in mind, so freesound.org, it's like this repository of like contributors that they also have like commercial license audio and sound, but they also offer like commercial like CC0, I think it's called. It's like freely available that you might use in your projects, open source projects. Also itch.io, it's already a platform like Steam, but it's more like a marketplace and for available resources like games, assets, and all of that. So it's also a good source for finding assets. OpenGameArt is like also this kind of retro vibe assets, but it doesn't limit to retro style assets. It also has like fonts, pixel art, like sprite sheets and all of that. So those were like the main sources for my assets selection. So yeah, cool. And yeah, so once I had like that in mind, to enhance that retro tone, I thought, oh, maybe an overlay inspired by the purple Game Boy Advance, as you see here. And of course, I had to modify and rename some things, for obviously for licensing reasons, and that's where the name LeniHop color came from. So there is a combination of the two styles, because I kept the widescreen from the Game Boy Advance, but also the style from the color lettering you see there down below from the Game Boy Color. So I combined the two. It was a nice touch to grab both styles. So yeah, so you can see here, like, okay, I was like, as I said, I replicated that boot animation. And yeah, from there, I also obviously created all from the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy original Game Boy boot animation. They're already there, so you can check it out if you want to check the game. But yeah, that's all that is. So from here, I was, oh, this is really cool. And yeah, from there, like, as I said, the gameplay was kind of to create like I have everything in place, and implemented the Dino Run clone mechanics wasn't complicated at all. I remember working on it little by little, and more ideas kept popping into my head. Since I didn't have like a structured plan, it was a bit chaotic, but eventually, officially, I asked the guys. In this case, I asked Juan Cruz, and showed it, hey, they have this silly game. Do you think we could make it like an open source project? And immediately, a support group was activated to work on prototype, and I kept showing progress, not like frequently, but at least as I had the time to work on it, I kept showing, and it became clear I could be a candidate for a simple release. But I wasn't completely satisfied I knew something was missing from it. So the challenge wasn't there. So I felt that from a developer's point of view, wasn't like, oh, a great challenge to like, oh, is this it? What could I add to give it more substance to it? Yeah, that's where, okay, maybe I could check out some other games and inspiration for recreation. And I remember like a particular game from Wario Land, from the Game Boy Advance, is Wario Land. It's a mini game for, from the game. And in this game, Wario, it's the character you see there, it rides a tire in the middle of a desert and has to jump over various obstacles like rocks, pigs, cacti, cowboys, etc. Yeah, silly game, silly mini game. So each successful jump you made or you made on the game, it makes a sound, a really silly sound. So, but it's in sync with the background music you hear. So the game's speed ups also, and after jumping over certain amounts of obstacles, the speed increases, and obviously the difficulty increases for that. So for that purpose, and yeah, this game is a predecessor, obviously, of the Dino Run, because Dino Run Chrome came like later. But what I like, how do I say? It had two interesting features that caught my attention. So one is obviously the screen moves right to left in this, and it is like not usual for obviously a game like Mario, but we are used to obviously walk from left to right. And also it has like this rhythm aspect where the sounds of the jumping over the obstacle almost in sync with the background music. I believe it's really in sync because it's really good, like syncing that sound effect when you jump over the background music. So this added an extra layer of complexity. So that's when it hit me. Oh, this is really cool challenge. So maybe like try to sync the background with the gameplay. So from development point of view, I thought that, oh, this really could be like a challenge to learn and to learn around this problem, so this issue. And yeah, so this was the main challenge on the game. So the idea of syncing the jump with the background machine was interesting. And fortunately, this is a common topic in the Godot community. So there's even a section in the documentation about syncing with audio. So you can check it out on the Godot documentation, where they explain, like, not thoroughly, but that they explain really well what's the problem you may encounter when trying to sync background or music in gameplay. And you need to avoid drifting away. So if you, for example, if you start to, okay, I have like an idea, if for example, you have like, oh, I want to play the music in the background, but you obviously start to program, and oh, when, I don't know, probably at 3 seconds, we like to emit this sound, for example. So implemented that. So if you implement that, you will probably get drift sometimes. So it will not be in sync. That's the issue here. So I don't want to explain it further because it's really like complex to explain. But Legion Games, the YouTube channel, has a great video explaining why it's happening, how to solve it. Obviously, he used like an older version of the Godot game engine, but the idea was there. So it's really like really good source to learn how to sync the audio. So yeah, it was like a both simple and complex because, oh, you have this kind of everything, like all information is there. So all the information is already there on the internet. And complex because, okay, the main challenge was to ensure that the synchronization worked perfectly across all platforms. So also with native platform like okay, if I run Mac OS, Windows, Linux, but I consider web export as the one with the highest priority, because it was like to distribute and release the game was easier. And I just need to, okay, here it's a game, the URL, you can play it, and you need to a browser, and that's it. And yeah, the final synchronization wasn't 100% perfect, but it was good enough to be played and fun. So yeah, for that I needed music, a main theme, and I wasn't happy with obviously there are like I had to test and try to hear like a bunch of different kind of musics and audios, but yeah, that's what I considered to maybe I could outsource this. And I contacted Miguel Angel is one great composer from Mexico and Fiverr, really affordable. He really helped me to grasp the tone I wanted to, the silly tone of the music. And I just sent it, hey, I have this game. I just asked him, I want to make it like to be like this one. He got the reference right away, and yeah, and like I don't know, I remember like in 15 minutes, he already did the mix, and really cool. So I really recommend, if you're looking for like a composer for this kind of retro games or pixel art games, really good, really nice. But yeah, so what obviously was the different challenges or refactors I had in this project. The game underwent several refactors and making it like it was, I think it's the personal project with the most refactors I ever done. So for example, I will not list it here because in any particular order, but I kind of classified it like, okay, this is, the first one was like jumping around from version 2 to version 4, because, okay, I started with GDScript in version 3, was not big of a deal. Okay, really cool. But then Godot 4.0 was around the corner, was like, okay, it will start like, it will be released soon. So it will be a good idea to migrate it to version 4. Okay, and yeah, I say, okay, what the heck? I will port it to version 4.2. So, and yeah, so, and then I could use C#. And again, it was like, okay, another challenge. I want to like refresh C#, and since it integrates really well with VS Code, when I finished, like, oh, the refactor is already done. I migrated all the things I had to do. But when I tried to export to web, I realized that the web export didn't work with C# on the Godot 4.0. So, I said, oh, right. And that's why I didn't read the documentation. So first, read the documentation first. That's the first lesson. Okay. And then, so I switched back again with GDScript, but exporting to the web in 4.0 wasn't also fully supported still, because they were like starting to implement multi-thread on the 4.0. This was the main difference between Godot 3 and 4. In this will they already like think about multi-threading the export. And yeah, it wasn't like, okay, that they announced that no, they will be probably fix that on later versions like 4.1 or 4.2. But yeah, I got stuck still with Godot 3.5. Yeah, so I left my branch there. So I need to still wait to 4.3. And it was announced like months ago with beta releases. And a week ago was the official stable release was released. So I just need to, I changed the version and yeah, export it. And now it's in 4.3. Those are regarding the version, the back and forth with versions was like really difficult like a situation like, okay, was okay, a bummer in that sense. And yeah, the other refactors were like mechanics implementations. There are several ways to handle mechanics. I don't want to obviously to like to talk about the exact implementation, but as an overview, you can move the character, make the camera, you have the camera and follow Lenny. So you have to spawn spawn the obstacle that appears off screens, and that's one way to implement it. That's the easiest way to appear. And the other thing was now that I have like that implemented, how do I sync with the music? So it was like, okay, I need to implement some kind of like class, something that allows me to sync to keep in sync the gameplay with the background music. So I will talk a little bit further about this. But yeah, so the thing is that as I was implemented this syncing with the music, I was creating like a exact replica of the, I don't know, DDRs and like rhythm games, and I need to be precise in that. So it was like, oh, it's too much work, because after implementing, I need to create tracks, pre-create the tracks, pre-con the levels, generating like the enemies. I had to put it like, okay, I need to create level 1. Okay, level 1 has to be with single bits. So level 2 with different bits on different like offsets. So it was like, to design that was really, really hard work to do. So it was a lot of work to do. So I stuck with, maybe I could like generate randomly generated levels, but sticking with like, okay, you don't, it's hard to explain, because it's like, okay, just to create like from this universe of limitations, you need to create just randomly be like, okay, create enemies in this kind of set of bits and nodes. So yeah, so after several tests, I realized that it was becoming obviously that rhythm game, but yeah, I just created like simple like random generator and saving time and in the process. And yeah, the other thing is what the camera and the background movement, as I said before. The thing is that the Godot has like if you move the camera has a limit. Is incredible high, the limit that the camera reaches, but and it bothered me like a pebble, because probably there will be like this kind of gamer, hardcore gamer, like will I don't know, beat all the levels. So eventually will it reach that limit? And I decided to remove the camera, and yeah, and the thing is that in the game, Lenny doesn't move at all, so it just jumps. So that's the effect of the game. So I don't want to spoil it more because I want to guys play it a little bit. But what happens behind the scenes is basically this. So the architecture of the game is, okay, I have like 3 entities. The first one is like the global or the game manager that acts like as a central hub of managing the game states, like the current game speed, the interactions between different systems, like, I don't know, the score, keep track of the score, keep track of what appears on the screen. So it's really like, okay, it's like that manager, general manager. The other one is like the conductor. The conductor is like that, as I mentioned before, is the one that keeps in sync the game action with the music rhythm, and ensuring that everything happens beat on beats, and guides the timing of the level events and gameplay elements. So what it basically do is like sets the it's like the one you see there is like setting the beat of the game in quarter notes, basically. Just I don't want to be like with complex rhythm. So it's like simple as it gets. And yeah, so that's what the conductor basically do. So the other ones like the additional is the level generator. The level generator is like this static class that basically has like a bunch of, oh, if I want to generate level 2, I want to, okay, in level 1, for example, I have 2 bits maximum as max. So to report like, okay, spawn enemies every 2 bits of the like the rhythm of the game. But eventually when I incremented the level, so I was, oh, maybe in level 3, I'll start to add more bits to the like the spawning, the enemy spawn. So I played with that. And the other was the game speed. Also, I incremented, if the music increments in speed, also the gameplay increments in speed. So it really, how do I do this? Like this communication is between signals. Signals is the observable pattern implementation of Godot. Is the custom built-in signals facilitates communication between nodes. It's really fantastic feature of Godot. I think I will argue that it's the most like the nicer feature about Godot, because you can make every scene that you create or every object in this sense like be reacted to this kind of events. So in this case, I made that almost all the objects react to the beats. You can see that effect of the heartbeat, it's in sync with the beat of the conductor. So really cool feature. And yeah, together, obviously, this scripts works in tandem to create the responsive and rhythmically aligned gameplay experience. So yeah, that's the extent of it in this case. And yeah, so to finish, I want you guys play the game, and maybe you can also report feedbacks and also so lessons learned and future plans for this. Obviously embrace flexibility. I don't recommend, though, if you're like working on a commercial project, because obviously you can have creative freedom in adaptation, and the flexibility was crucial to responding to ideas and community feedback. It's also a little bit therapeutic for me because I can like unplug from work and I can work with this, and like it's really like for me it was like a really good experience in that sense. And obviously community is key. Engaging with community earlier and provide valuable insights and contribution. Obviously it's significant, but that significantly shape the game. So regular communication and openness to feedback were essential. So even though obviously guys said that, no, I didn't contribute at all. No, you can contribute with a single comment, and you can make wonders if you want to. Even my kid, as I said, my kid was like QA tester one like months ago, and yeah, he encountered like it's not a really tiny bug, because since I want to create the like the interaction with the game like as easy as possible, just to like like okay with keystrokes to interact with the game. It was like, he encountered like I was missed like a shortcut to start the game again. So yeah, I fixed it right away. So really cool feedback in that sense. Obviously, iterative testing, regular play testing, iteration help refine the gameplay mechanics and balance difficulty. I ensure at least I did my best that I could, because obviously probably you will get some of you, not every gamer is the same. Obviously, they have like different. There are different type of game in the sense, but I ensure at least that the game remains fun and challenging. That's the main thing. Obviously, technical challenges and opportunities. Well, facing technical challenges is like the syncing audio with the music and exporting to different platforms was like challenging, but was an opportunity to learn and improve. So really cool experience. And obviously polish, the other thing is polish and juice. And when you say you add juice, it's like those small touches. I implemented some things you can to add that extra visual feedback, and yeah, so it makes the game feel more complete and engaging. So it's really nice. It's really important that every game that you develop, you add polish and juice to it. And the other thing I have to obviously in mind is to expand this LeniHop color theme. And I'm really excited to the potential of expanding this LeniHop colored theme. And it could be awesome if we could organize game jams centered around the LeniHop color, this limitation. So this way we encourage developers and designers to create their own takes on retro style and using similar assets and mechanics. This will not only foster community involvement, but also generates like a lot of creative content around the theme. So it will be nice to have more guys or more people involved. So really, it will be really cool. And source code and web export you can obviously get on itch.io, and you can find LeniHop there. You can also find some of the exports for Windows, Linux, and macOS. If you have problems on macOS on the web export, there is like a small issue. I don't know what is really happening, but I think it's related to the OpenGL implementation on Chrome browsers. It has like a performance issues. So I recommend using another like probably other browser like Firefox or Safari. But if you're killing for you the gameplay, you can obviously use the native exports like macOS or Windows or Linux. And yeah, the code is already published in GitHub. You can check it out. So cool. It will really excited to you guys check it out. So I want to finish with my favorite quote from Bob Ross. Is like, as long as you are learning, you're not failing. So thank you very much for guys here.
Thank you very much, Gustavo. It was an amazing talk. We have a few questions here on the chat. You might just read them and...
Oh.
Will you?
Oh, there's Gabrielle can access itch.io, but can you access probably the GitHub page? I think I will export. I will add the export to on GitHub. I have to create that. So, there is like Luciano. As someone that wants to try game development in Godot, what will be your top recommendation for getting the basics down and avoiding common pitfalls? Well, yeah, the only thing that you will learn from mistakes, that's for sure. You will, if you can, for example, want to dive into the Godot game engine, I recommend to start at least with to learn the script, the GD script language. So it will be beneficial because that way you could ensure you could like, I learned this script, and from there you can extrapolate that like, I don't know how to say, that knowledge to every engine. So not only Godot. So I always recommend there is like this kind of interactive, I remember from GDQuest. GDQuest has a nice, really interactive application that you can, it will navigate you with everything that has to be with GDScript. So it's really cool to start with that. The other thing is that start with small projects like this. Maybe you can, to get to like get to know the engine, the interface, to know it a little bit better, and create things that more silly you get, then that's the way that you can avoid those pitfalls. But it's really like common pitfalls will arise. So that's the only thing you have to, but embrace those pitfalls. That's the thing. And can you send? Oh, the miss. Yeah, I will. There will be. I will send the
I think
the
you
links.
can share all the links next on open source channel or game dev channel after the talk. But I do have a question for you. What do you think that's inspired you to do this kind of retro aesthetic kind of look for the game? It was just because was the asset that you found, or you always wanted to do it that way?
Yeah, I wanted to keep it simple, to keep it like, and since I'm from a generation that obviously played a lot of retro games, the classic games. I know I'm really old now, but I wanted to, since I was fun on those kind of games, I really grasped that like, that feeling. So I wanted to also to show these new generations that how we will the feeling. So and yeah, that's the extent of it. It wasn't like a big plan. I want to big, like it was like little by little, like adding it a little bit. So yeah, it wasn't like, I have to do and I have to plan this, and yeah, but yeah, it was simple idea. That's it.
Okay, awesome. So we have
Okay,
Florent,
Florent, more technical question. Why did you export the game to the web and not develop in native format? Yeah, as I said, it's really easier to I'll share the link to someone, and if that someone has like a browser already in his computer, yeah, it will play it right away. So, and yeah, that's why I decided to export, because if, for example, on macOS, you have this like kind of restriction with security. So you need to have like a license to sign the game and the web and the export to be like executable right away. So if you want to play, obviously, in a Mac like it is today, you have to bypass the security. So it will be like cumbersome to people. But yeah, that's why I decided, web export. It's the right format to share. Oh, and Stanislao has his hand raised. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, Gustavo. Thanks for the talk. It's awesome. I have two questions for you. The first one is how do you handle testing across different platforms? And the second one is, in case you wanna say distribute this on Switch or any other console, do you know how we can do that? Godot allow us to do that? Do we need any special hardware to develop for those platforms? Thanks.
So I will like the first. There are two questions, if I remember. You asked if how was the testing for the platform? No, I was basically obviously testing on my own on my personal computers. I have Linux and Mac. And it was like, I exported this to Windows and play it like a while, like I don't know, for 20-30 minutes each, and that was basically it. And friends, folks, I asked you can play it with here, you can play it here if you want, and that was basically it. It wasn't like a big plan. No, I have to create, like, obviously, like planning all the testing was like, basically, it works. I played a little bit and it worked. So that was the the idea. And regarding the consoles, exporting to consoles, since the licensing of the Godot game engine is like MIT, it clashes with the licenses from those proprietary platforms. So you have to go for third-party licenses like that will export to you your code to those consoles. So you have to pay a fee, obviously, to for third-party developers. And the other thing is that there's also in a work in progress. I think it's like starting to become more like known is the for W4 games. W4 games, like this entity that most of the Godot creators or Godot like main contributors created to be and to solve that issue, to solve and to bring that. Obviously, you have to pay obviously a license, and you can export it to consoles like PlayStation, I think Nintendo Switch, and obviously, and even Xbox. They also implemented like this Direct 12 implementation on Godot, so you can export it also on Xbox. So yeah, you have to pay like a fee, an extra fee in this case, but it's not impossible. You can always export. There are also successful games made in Godot that reach Nintendo Switch. Very cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Okay, so has anyone else has a question or a comment or something that I would like to say? Okay, I will take the silence as another.
But yeah.
Well,
nice.
Thanks again, Gustavo. I think we can keep talking about it and have a little chat, as I say, in the open source channel or game dev. We will see you there.
Cool.
And thank you very much for all this
inspiration
and initiative. I think we will have a little bit of fun playing the game later. So thank you very much, Gustavo, and everyone who joined the talk. I hope this inspires you all to improve yourself and do new things as well. So thank you very much, and see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.